There is no response, Mr. Omari. I gave you an opportunity. I explained the rules of my court. You decided to try them. This is the consequence. Please leave my court.
Could I also be heard?
Mr. Omari, we are not having a debate, a discussion, negotiation. Please leave my court.
I will leave. I respect the jurisdiction of this court. Save that, the court gave directions, and I comply with the directions.
Okay, Mr. Omari, sorry to interject. May I have your P105 number? We can do this another way. What is your P105? Do you want us to go down that route?
My Lord, I didn't want us to go that route.
Yes, so please obey the court. I have ensured that your party is represented by someone else, so there'll be no prejudice suffered if you...
What I was only requesting, can I sit and listen, or I can't listen? I'm not an advocate. The court has already struck me from representing my client.
I've not struck you from representing your client. I've asked you to leave for the purposes of today.
Can I
leave
sit
the
and
court.
Follow the proceedings?
No.
Much.
Mr. Ogada?
Thank you, Your Lordship. So the position of the Law Society of Kenya is this, that if those orders are not...
Lord, with your permission, and can you allow me to address you on one point? My name is Sam Nyaberi. I'm for the fifth respondent. My Lord, with humility, I approach the court to kindly revisit the issues that presented this morning in regard to representation of parties before you, and in particular, the representation for the fifth respondent, where Mr. Omari was asked to take leave of the court. My Lord, going forward, Mr. Omari was wielding about 60% of the submissions that were going on, and kindly, if we can be allowed to join the session so that we may be able to proceed. Even without participating, he can be here so that in case there is something that he wants to communicate to court or something that I've forgotten, kindly, so that it can be of help to me as I present the issues attendant to the fifth respondent. Kindly.
Thank you, Councillor Ngeri.
Nyaberi.
Sorry, Nyaberi. That is fine. So he can join us, not just as a spectator. He can participate as counsel, but please impress on your colleague to be on his best behavior. My orders, and they're not complied with. It's a very straightforward, very simple way. The only three things I do. The first is I find you in contempt. Mr. Omari, that's Omari. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's not possible.
Classmates can't have personal problems. You are classmates in LLM. So, let's proceed. I apologize to the court. Let's proceed. Thank you, ma'am.
Pressure my learned friend, Danstan Omari. I don't know what has happened to him in the recent past, but be that as it may.
Investigation and sentencing. And the third, where it is not clear-cut, I invite you for notice to show cause. So that is how I left this court for the recess. I was going to return and apply one of those three ways. But then I thought about Madam Mutua, who has come to court today, a sister of a petitioner applicant who is not before this court and whom is not at liberty. And I asked myself, what is the priority for this court? Enforcing judicial authority through contempt of court, or to get to the bottom of where the seventh petitioner applicant is? I'm sure Madam Mutua and her family and their friends are thinking the absolute worst now that they are seeing the second to the sixth at liberty, but their beloved brother, son is not. So I'm going to do something I do not do ordinarily. I will place the question of contempt to one side, because I firmly believe all of us in this room, our first priority is to secure the 7th petitioner applicant. I've heard Mr. Nyamodi, I've heard you, Mr. Nyamodi. Certainly there needs to be investigations, but this is not a matter for 14 days. What I'd want to hear from council is a proposal, not from Mr. Nyamodi, from the rest. I'll begin with senior counsel. What is practical in terms of a return date that gives the second and third respondents in particular the opportunity to take statements and to return, such that when the Inspector General of Police is returning before me for hearing, not a mention, for hearing, they would have had an opportunity. And so that I make it clear, so that when you are giving your responses, there can be no doubt, if the Inspector General of Police misses on that third hearing date, I will go with option 1. I will cite, convict, and sentence on the spot. With respect to the Director, DCI,